Welcome to the Lights Out Podcast. This is Chris Lights Out Lytle, and this is our journey to document the history of mixed martial arts. I have brought with me my friend, the MMA detective Mike Davis, and together we will preserve the history and hear some great stories from the world in the era of the no-holds-barred. Thank you and enjoy.
Welcome back to the Lights Out MMA History Podcast. I am Joey Venti. I'm with the host of the show, the MMA detective Mike Davis. Today we have a special episode for you. Returning to the show in a moment, former guest and MMA legend Denis Kang. And he's brought with us another former middleweight standout who had an amazing career, UFC veteran and former UFC world title challenger, David the Crow Louseau. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. What's going on?
All right, so David, you're absolutely nice to meet you. So your journey is very unique. Are you an immigrant to Canada, or were you born and raised in Canada?
Yeah, born and raised Montreal, Canada. Yes.
Okay, but you have Haitian roots, correct?
Yes, both my parents are from Haiti, born and raised in Haiti. They immigrated to Canada in the 70s, late 70s, and I was born here. Yeah, Montreal.
So you're first generation.
Yes.
That's fantastic. And at what age do you pick up English?
I mean, I had elementary English classes as a kid, but at 18, I was turning 18, and in one summer, I wanted to go to an English college. So I got accepted. I did because I had basic English, but I had one summer to get my English to be able to communicate with other people. So during one summer, I watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air every day. And I would record it and then watch about 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. Like I would watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air over and over and over, and I would catch little phrases here and there. And then I learned to speak the way I speak English right now. I learned it in one summer 97, I think. Yeah.
Right, let's do your plugs. What are you up to now?
Oh, I have a gym. I have a martial arts gym, Crow Training Center. It's located 4850 Saint-Ambroise. It's in Montreal. In December, it's going to be 10 years that I'm in business. So it's going to be 10 years, December 2014. It's been fun. It's been great learning process. It's been fun. Yeah.
That's really good. All right, so let's start from the beginnings. Where does your interest in mixed martial arts start?
I watched ninja movies and Bloodsport. Bloodsport is the one that made me like, whoa, I want to do this one day. I didn't want to fight. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to do action movies like Van Damme. I saw that stuff. I'm like, wow. So I harassed my parents to sign me up in a karate school. And I was very good at the sparring part. And then my sensei back then just suggested that I compete. So I went to compete and I lost. I lost pretty badly. Well, pretty badly. I was 9 years old. So it wasn't that bad, but it hurt me so bad. I was like, I want to fight everybody. And ever since, I just want to compete. But at first, I started martial arts not to fight. It was just to be able to do the moves and eventually do movies.
Okay. In my notes, I have that at the age of 17, you were in kickboxing and you got in a real bad car accident.
Yes. 17. Yeah, it was 98. It was in April 98. And I was on my way to a kickboxing tournament, and the driver, the person that was driving the car, was speeding and then lost control of the car, and the car started flipping over, and I was sleeping, and then obviously I was concussed, and I woke up in the ambulance, and I needed an emergency surgery. I had a C5, C7 disc that were broken, and they took a part of my hip bone to fix my spine, and I had to start from zero again. It was very very tough road, but I mean, till today, I still have things that bothered me from the accident. It was tough, but I made it back, got back on my feet, and after that accident, actually, I just wanted to live my dream and do what I wanted. So that's why I decided to start training hard and try to fight pro and try to make it to the pros, and yeah, that's what happened.
So when do you kind of, like, you're on the shelf for obviously a while. Who was your first mixed martial art instructor?
My first mixed martial arts instructor was Angelo Exarhakos. He was, back then, it was a purple belt from Renzo Gracie. From Renzo back in the day, old school. You used to go to New York and train, and then come back to Montreal and share the techniques with us and train us and coach us. He's the guy that started this whole TriStar MMA program. There was nobody else. It was Angelo, and then we just followed his lead and trained under him.
That's like super old school. Like,
yes.
He was pre-Firas.
Of course. Firas was just like me, a student, member of TriStar Gym. We were just students and training under Angelo.
Your original trainer, Exarhakos, he was the original guy teaching jiu-jitsu in the area. And Firas was one of his students, and Firas ended up buying, from what I understand, he ended up buying his business, correct?
No, Angelo had a MMA program inside TriStar Gym. TriStar Gym was not an MMA gym. It was a kickboxing and boxing gym. And then Angelo would rent the room to train us, to train the jiu-jitsu guys. And
okay, go ahead.
And then the team built. He built a solid team. He had some guys fighting on the Indian Reserve back then, and yeah, the guys got better and better and bigger. And then Angelo has his own business, so he had less and less time to take care of the fighters. And then Firas took over. Like most of us decided to train and fight and compete. But Firas took the coaching route, and yeah, you saw what happened. There was some great fighters that came out of the gym, and Firas became a great trainer, world class. So yeah, great story.
Right. So Firas, he does not have any MMA fights, though. Am I correct?
No. Jiu-jitsu matches, kickboxing, boxing, amateur stuff.
He's one of those few trainers with absolute brilliance that don't have a lot of combat sports. Well, if he's done kickboxing and stuff like that, he's
listen.
I've
seen him go toe to toe, blow for blow with who's who in the top of MMA. You know what I'm saying? Like in the gym.
I can second that.
Yeah. See, Denis Kang is right here saying, yeah, I've sparred with Firas. He sparred with wherever. You see all the big names that came to TriStar? Firas put his hands on them.
Was there like a rite of passage, like you kind of see at like Militich's gym, or you'll see it like Matt Hume's gym? Was there a rite of passage where Firas, like you said, he puts his hands on you, maybe like after a practice or not, as a form of acceptance?
No, not a rites of passage. It was organic. There was no like, oh, okay, now you're the coach. It was just organic, just organic. That's a proper term for the way the transition was from being training partners to him starting the coaching stuff. It just flowed.
So Angelo ended up getting his brown belt later on, black belt under Renzo. With everything happening there, and it was as plain as day, you guys were going to be one of the, arguably the greatest team in Canadian history. Why does he exit?
Angelo?
Exarhakos.
Oh yeah, well he's got a very he's got a big business. He's had a comic book distribution and stuff, so it's very time consuming, and he's got a family and all that, so it's tough, man. This MMA coaching business is not the most lucrative and easy job, man. It's tough. It's us fighters, we're divas, man. We're divas. So it requires a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of stuff.
And this was before, like, if you were like a purple belt or on up, it was like, oh my gosh, like it was very hard to find.
A purple belt from Renzo. It was impossible to find back in the day.
Yeah. Especially in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Like a legit one,
And Viktor Vargotzky was also there.
Yes. He was a kickboxing coach. He was a former world champion kickboxer. Kickboxing coach. He was there. Yep.
Did you get rounds in with him as well?
Yes. I trained with him a lot. Trained with Viktor a lot back in the day.
I think he's one of those names that doesn't get enough credit.
I mean, I think this whole scene doesn't get enough credit, man. The fighters, the coaches, yeah, man. He's one of them as well. Like he's a great coach. He coached me, he coached George, he coached a lot of the fighters. Solid coach, trainer. Yeah, and he was a great fighter too.
Yeah. So the transition from Exarhakos to Firas, was it difficult or was it just a seamless, easy flow?
For who?
For respect, like to get respect. Like, did Firas' respect come immediately or did it come with time from you guys?
I think it was immediate. I mean, if
he's brilliant.
He's
brilliant.
To be there.
Yeah.
No, you had to be there because it wasn't like, oh, I'm your coach. It's like, back then the sport was so young that, where there's a lot of brainstorming. There's a lot of like today is like, okay, for us at TriStar is the coach, whatever he says goes. But back then it was us out there just brainstorming. We're trying. I was the guinea pig. I was the guinea pig for today's Quebec MMA scene. I was the guinea pig. We tried diets, different training sessions, different training methods, conditioning, this, that, and whatever worked, the people keep doing today. But what didn't work. So yeah, it was.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, Dennis.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, I think you'll agree with me, David, that Firas became Firas the MMA coach when, like, he graduated from being Firas to Firas the MMA coach right around, like, I would say 2008, 9-ish, right? I think when George was fighting, when rematching Sarah, you know what I mean? And you and I were in the UFC also, stuff like that. Right around that time.
Yeah,
right?
around that time.
But also people were going more and more, to TriStar. And, people were coming up, like Dwight Jackson was coming up and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Because George had, for us, was not cornering George until after the Sarah loss. After the Sarah loss, this is when George said, "Okay, I need to find a guy that just coaches me in MMA." And he would come and go at TriStar, but then he officially started training under Firas after the Matt Serra loss, and then they clicked and they stayed together ever since.
So George accepted him, and I mean, Muhammad Ali had a head coach. you have to have a head coach. Like if you really want
100%. We had that talk, George and I. I said, listen, I was cornering George. If you watch George's fight, I cornered him all his fights all the way up to the Sarah fight. So, but then it's like, do you want to have your train partners in the corner or you want to have a coach? It's way better to have a coach. The coach will tell you what's up. You know what I'm saying? It's better. It's better. So he made that decision, and yeah, it's great.
But for you to say that, it means you actually care. Because sometimes people, they just, well, you can't. I'm in your corner.
Absolutely. A lot of people, it's about them. I've never been like that. I've always been very, open and honest with myself, with others. And if I was, it's easy for me to. Some people, it's easy for me to put myself in their shoes and be like, okay, how would I feel if I was in his shoes? And then, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very unselfish. It's very unselfish, man. It's very rare quality in this sport.
Really? Well, thanks.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
With your striking, your advanced striking, your athleticism, why did you never transition to K1?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I was just so obsessed with this MMA thing, and then losing fights, losing important fights. My Rich Franklin fight, Mike Swick, a few guys, just I couldn't let it go. It was hard for me to let it go. It was hard for me to retire in the first place. In 2014, it was tough, but when you don't accomplish your goals, when you have these goals and you're almost there, but you don't quite get it. Yeah, it's tough.
Your first fight against Justin Bruckman, June 2nd, 2000, was at TKO 1.
Yeah.
How do you connect? How do you guys find out that Stephan Patry is going to be doing an event? Like, how does that all come together?
Man, June 2000, that's 24 years ago. So listen,
that's crazy.
Let me go back a little bit. It's a long time ago. I was training at TriStar, and Stephan Patry was a local promoter, and I don't know, I think he saw me compete at a amateur jiu-jitsu tournament, and then he saw me and he was like, hey, do you know how to strike? I was like, striking is my first thing. So the first thing I ever started doing was striking. It was karate and kickboxing. So he was like, okay, let me speak to your coach, and then we see if we could get you a fight. And then this is what happened. He spoke to Angelo, and they made it happen.
So Justin Bruckman, Loaf was his nickname, I believe.
Yeah, Justin Loaf.
Loaf. I don't even know. He ended his career 7-3, but your first fight you lost by armbar.
Yeah.
Did it ignite a fire underneath you?
Yeah, every loss will do that. I mean, it was my first fight. That was very green, and I fought a judo. He was a judo black belt. I don't think he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but he was more advanced in the grappling department than me. So yeah, I mean, I was not that devastated. It was my first fight. I was new. I was learning, but then I got a rematch. I think 2 months later, yeah. And then I defended the takedown, and I was very disciplined. And then he shot in, and I caught him in a guillotine, and it was great.
So your second fight, like there's certain boxes fighters have to check for, like that rugged, old school, no holds barred era. You've got to fight a tournament. You have to have a tournament on your record. And your second outing, June 2nd, 2000, or August 12th, 2000, TKO 2, it's for the title. You get Bruckman in the first round. You win by guillotine. And future UFC veteran Steve Vigneault is your second.
Yeah, Vigneault. Yeah. Tough guy. I mean,
Very.
we're actually training. We're actually training together, on and off. We were like training partners and good friends, and then it was like,
At this
man,
time?
yeah, back then we had trained together a few times back then. So we're backstage, and I'm like, listen, I want that title. You want that title? Let's fight. Let's just do a sparring session. But we we go hard. We go 100%, and we just went out there and we fought. We went hard, and it was fun. I won my first Canadian title. It's probably in the back, first one to the left over there.
Man,
it was fun.
And you won by Dr. Stoppage.
It was, yeah. He wouldn't come out for the second round. Yes. Yeah.
I'll tell you, dude, some of your friggin' elbows and kicks and knees, like they change the direction of people's lives.
Listen. It's I would put so much time into these striking techniques, like the elbows. Like I would spend like sometimes an hour after practice on just working on ground and pound and working some angles and with my punches and elbows. And I would put a bag on the floor and just hit the bag. And I was like, why do boxers hit the bag standing up? Like they hit the standing bag all the time, every practice. Why don't we do the same on the ground? I tell my fighters that. I'm like, man, hit the ground.
That is so true. That is so well said.
Yeah, I'm like, why?
Yeah, and I try to tell my students the same thing.
Yeah, man. And that's how I developed a crazy ground and pound. Listen, if you're on your back, in my prime, if you're on your back, things are not going well for you. Like if you look at my fights when I'm in my prime, 2005, 6, if you're on your back, just get back up. It's not gonna go well. That's because of the ground and pound. That's the long hours on the floor. Boom, boom, boom. Practice double, elbow.
So, Denis Kang, when does David Louseau jump on your radar? When do you first get to see him fight or know who he is?
It was the early 2000s, because that's when I can't remember if they were the DVDs or the videos of the UCC, because there wasn't TKO back then. It was UCC, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is happening because we didn't have anything like that in Vancouver, like an organized, structured MMA event that was happening regularly. No way. It would happen like once a year, then you never hear from them again. Like this was an actual thing, back then. So it was really cool to see that. And they were promoting their fighters like David, like George, like Steve Vigneault as superstars, So it was really cool to see that, So I was learning a lot from watching David fight, from watching all these other guys fight, Yeah, it was amazing. It was really cool. And honestly, probably with the first time I saw David fight would have been, I can't remember if it was the Bruckman fight or if it was Jason St. Louis. One of the two. Yeah. Those early UCC. Yeah.
I used to get all those DVDs. Those DVDs were phenomenal. I always ordered them. What did you get paid for that the tournament, David?
I don't know, man. I probably paid to get in there. I don't know.
He probably still hasn't gotten paid.
No, man. I have no idea, but it wasn't big money. It was local
but you
shows.
know what? Actually, to be fair, don't you remember that Patry actually had a really good, maybe later on, when Monty Cox started bringing his boys over, and Jeremy Horn.
Yeah.
UCC was paying pretty good. They had a pay scale, remember?
They were the
first event that had an actual pay scale.
It was organized so well, man. It was very well organized.
I get paid barely anything, but still, organized. You're right. Yeah.
If you got paid something, you would have remembered. You may have paid to go into that tournament.
Yeah.
For the belts.
No, I didn't pay for it, but you know what I mean. It wasn't $10,000. It was under $5,000 for
$5,000.
sure. It was under that 100%. Just the medicals was like
There's
$200, $300.
like 500 for the first fight, and then if you win the whole thing, maybe you win like $3,000, something like that.
Man,
like
back then, so 2000, I was 20 years old. I couldn't care less about the money. It was about the honor, the freaking. I just wanted to fight the best and be the best fighter I could be. That's what mattered to me. I couldn't care less about money back then. Imagine 20 years old going out there and competing. The hunger, you just want to win that trophy, that belt. You want to be that Canadian champion. You know what I mean? That's what mattered to me. Not the money. Not the money. Dennis, I remember the first time I heard about you when you fought Potvin in Montreal. I watched the fight and I said,
that's right.
I said, this guy's going to be a problem.
Fight him. I was supposed to fight him, and then Potvin got injured, and I had to fight someone else. I had to fight Chris Peak, and then I fought Potvin later in UFC when Midu was in his corner.
But you beat that guy, right? You beat that guy, Chris Peak,
or
whatever.
I did.
So
Peak,
it was in Montreal, correct?
No, it was in Vancouver. When I did end up fighting Potvin, it was 2003, I believe, or fall 2003 in Montreal. St Pierre Charbonneau.
Yeah, but you had a
That's
fight.
The event center.
You had a fight at St Pierre Charbonneau before Potvin. No.
Yeah, I fought Joe Doerkson. Yeah,
you fought Doerkson.
Yeah, that was the week where that was a bad fight for me. But it was a good fight, exciting fight. But I mean, it was a bad fight in terms of the results.
I don't remember who it was, but I saw you and I said, this guy's going to be a problem. I said, fuck.
And I think that's the night that you fought Jesse Jones, right?
Jesse Jones was 2002.
Yeah, it was October 2002.
October 2002.
Oh, might have been before.
Yeah.
Well,
I think when I fought Doerkson, I think you're right. I think it was 2002. You're right. So that's the night you fought Jesse Jones, and that's probably, to this day, one of the best fights I've ever seen. Like, Mike, have you seen that fight?
Jesus.
Yeah, I've watched them all. Yeah.
What a fight.
Real. Like, people are still not doing things like that in that fight. Like, those multiple elbows. Man.
Yeah. At
Jesse
some point,
Jones was no joke. You know?
At some point, I grabbed Jesse's by the head and I threw 6-7 uppercuts. 8 uppercuts nonstop. It was crazy. And then elbow over the top. It was crazy. Back then, Jesse Jones had a win against Dave Mene, who was a UFC champion. He had a win against him.
And Henry Metamoros, who very high level black belt.
Yeah. He was solid. Yeah. Jesse Jones was solid. Yeah.
You would look at Dave Mene's record. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no. Like Jesse Jones, and we're skipping ahead a little bit, but Jesse Jones, for instance, it was what Jesse Jones showed up. Like, he's got very few losses against high-end people, but dude, he beat Dave Mene.
Yeah. But and that's Dave Mene, prime Dave Mene.
Yeah.
Like Dave Mene looking sharp. You know, not Miletich. The one that exactly.
Early Miletich guy. Jesse Jones is an early Miletich guy. Yeah. Jason St. Louis, The Matrix, it's your fourth fight. And if you look at the beginning of your career, it appears he's at a fork in the road. He's lost by submission and he's lost by armbar, but he's lost. He won a tournament in between there. Something had to just ignite that fire.
You talking about that fight with St. Louis? Yeah, yes. Man. I mean, it's I ran out of gas early, and I just I shot in. And I was punching him, throwing punches, and then I'm like, okay, let me take him down. I shot in, and then I took a deep breath because I was tired and I couldn't take him down. And then boom, big knee, and he won by TKO. It was that sucked, but hey, part of the game because that loss. It's interesting because that loss. I don't know if you saw the fights back then. You were allowed to wear shoes, but if you wear shoes, you can't kick and you can't. So I was just focused on jiu-jitsu and boxing. And after that, I said, that's not going to happen to me anymore. So I focused so much on clinching and Muay Thai and elbows and knees And that loss actually made me the crazy guy with the crazy clinch and elbows because I lost in the clinch. I was like, that's not gonna happen no more. And just like Justin Bruckman beat me with an arm lock. It's listen, when it comes to defense, as Dennis, I wasn't the best grappler. When it came to my defense, defending submissions,
Yeah,
I was there.
Yeah. You would bait me into mounting you. I was like, this is too easy, and you reversed me. That was your trick. I remember.
Yeah, man.
One of Canadians' unsung heroes is former trainer of champions, Shawn Tompkins, as well. That's your fifth fight. Like you're not taking an easy path. But Tompkins didn't have a real good go with mixed martial arts, but is one of the sport's best trainers for sure.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
one of the best, absolutely. After that, it was I had a fight with Tompkins. It was in Sherbrooke City, UCC
4,
and then UCC 4. My God, it's so far. Jesus.
With Tompkins though, did like he's Dwayne Ludwig's he would always advertise himself. I am Bas Rutten's #1 student, and him and Dwayne Ludwig would both say that. And you beat him. You knocked him out.
Yeah, it was. I took the fight to the ground, and that was the game plan. I took the fight to the ground, and just it was. Back then, I was already working on I was hitting the bag on the ground, like I was. So that's what I did. I took him down and went to work because I had just came from a knockout, so I was like, let me not go with Bas Rutten's top student. Let's not get into a war right away,
No. Dennis, did you ever coach against Shawn Tompkins?
No, I never did. Never. I met him obviously many times, and his students, but no, never coached against him. No.
Yeah, he was one of those guys. Like there's certain people that poach high-end students, and they come up with game plans. There's trainers where people are in and out, and then there's an actual coach. If you look at what he did, all within driving distance of his gym.
Oh, and homegrown guys. Like it's easy for some coaches to get guys that are like ready-made fighters, but to make somebody from the ground up, that is a work in itself. And that's what Shawn Tompkins did.
Yeah. From the ground up, Mark Hominick, Sam Stout, Chris Horodecki, like these guys made it to the top of the sport. The top. And he started them from zero. And that is remarkable. Not too many trainers can say that.
The sport of MMA was so new back then, so there was no blueprint to make anti-grapplers like his guys were, but they were all like that.
Oh, yeah. Conditioning, these guys were, like we call Mark Hominick the machine, not because he was, not because he was a chump. This guy could fight for days.
Mark Hominick just to learn his footwork,
Of course. Hominick was a stud. Oh, my God. What? Man, I used to look up to these guys. I had a lot of respect for these guys' technique, conditioning, fight strategies. Yeah. The team Tompkins, I respect them. I respect them a lot.
Yeah.
So in regards to being a fighter that has been there, done that, I mentioned you've got to fight in a tournament. Another check mark that you have to be at a fight that's outside and it starts to rain and the event gets canceled.
Yeah.
Which happened to you.
UFC, UCC 5. Was it 5? I was supposed to fight Mike Kitchen. Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that one.
Yeah. I remember Sean Pearson was on the card too. He was on he was on the card too. He was like, damn, man, cancel last minute. Yeah.
Nothing you can do. It is what it is.
Hey, David, how many people were actually kind of happy inside because they were so nervous? Like,
Absolutely.
do you know how many times I thought that before a fight? Yeah.
Of course.
Like, oh my God, I hope the event gets canceled. I don't want to do this.
Oh man. Man,
Yeah.
you know how
The whole undercard. Yeah.
you know how many times I was like, man, why am I here? Why am I here? What, man,
I
should
know.
have just
Man.
went to school. I should have just went to school, man.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Just study harder.
Yeah, man. But the thing is, like, it's so important to face your fears and do uncomfortable things, because win, lose, or draw after the fight, I'm like, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I did that. Good for you, man. Because it's so. If you, let's say you find an excuse and you don't show up, man, that's a bigger loss than a 5-second knockout. It's better to get knocked out in the first round than to before the fight, to quit before the fight and just pull out. No way.
Not even show up. That's right.
No way. Yeah. No way. No matter how I felt, I had panic attacks before fights. I had there's days I had like cramps because I would be so nervous. I would go pee, and I would be dehydrated. I would have cramps before fights, and I'm like, yo, could have fought. I could have found reasons not to show up, not to go in the cage or the ring. No way. That's not in my character. That's not who I am. I'm a warrior, and no matter what, I'm gonna go out there and compete. No matter how I feel, no matter what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless they cancel the event. Hey, if there's the rain,
unless it rains.
Unless it is what it is. It is
I
what
almost
it is,
won.
man.
You almost won. You almost won.
Yeah, man. It's important to just go out there and do uncomfortable things. Sometimes I see my students, you know, they're nervous before sparring, this and that, or jiu-jitsu competitions. I'm like, man, just understand that it's part of growth. It's part of growing, just doing these uncomfortable things. That's why I'm pushing a few of them to go out there and compete, because it's fun when you're out there, but the preparation and the nerves, dealing with the nerves before the competition and during it, you got, as a martial artist, you need that as a martial artist and as a human in general. Right, Dennis?
That's right. Agreed. 100.
At UCC 7, it's January 25th, 2002, Joe Doerkson, there is not a single Canadian that has as many MMA fights as he does, and there never will be.
Yeah. This guy, man, this guy comes to Montreal. He beat a few studs, you know, and he was ranked in the top 10. He was ranked in the top 10 back then, and I was like, man, this is a tough fight. Took the fight, obviously, and he had a lot of wins by Kimura. Like, he had a lot of Kimura shoulder lock. Like, he was beating a lot of guys, and I just went out there, did my best. It was a close fight. I got the decision. I got the win.
That's very difficult, man. Like, Joe Doerkson at this time was one of the best in the world. Absolutely.
100%.
Yes.
100%. He's a stud. He was a great fighter. But I wanted it. I wanted that win. I wanted to get noticed by on the international scene. I wanted to further my career. I wanted to do big things. So I knew I had to take big fights. I knew it.
So, Denis Kang, when you hear Canadian mixed martial arts, it's always Carlos Newton, David Louseau, Dennis yourself, George St. Pierre. Joe Doerkson's name belongs in that category.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Man, he was beating everybody. Yeah.
Fought Matt Hughes. I was not at the Matt Hughes fight. I was at the fight after, and man, he had a high stitch count, very high stitch count against Matt Hughes.
He's fought a lot. Hey, Patrick Cote as well.
Patrick Cote, yes.
That's my guy.
Sure.
That's my guy,
yeah.
man. Patrick Cote, another freaking Canadian legend.
Right.
Yeah. We got to name these people, man.
Yeah.
We got to name these guys.
Yeah. Ivan Menjivar, he's right there as well.
Ivan Menjivar, Yves Jabouin, Francis Carmon. Hey, the list goes on. The list goes on. You know, it's
Nordine Taleb. You know,
Nordine. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
Beast.
there's a killer right there.
Yeah.
And
many
like
guys.
one of the old guys that I really liked also was Bill Mahood. He was older, sold a restaurant.
Oh my God, that's my boy.
Bill's your guy, Dennis. Bill's your guy.
Yeah,
Bill's your guy, no?
That's my boy. Yeah.
Bill
was like a throwback to the days of
Cajun Johnson. Cajun
like
Johnson.
Jack Johnson. Yeah. Who?
Cajun Johnson.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Oh, Cajun Johnson. That's right. Yeah. Cajun. Yeah. I see him all the time now in Vancouver. Jason McDonald. Nice. Remember Jason McDonald from Alberta?
Man. You McDonald. You guys were on my radar. You McDonald. I was like, oh shit. The West Coast is
that's right.
Is in the house.
The same weight class. Yeah.
I was looking at man. That's one thing about my fighting career, man. Like, huh? Go ahead.
Go ahead, David.
I was.
No, I was going to say it was you, me, Chris Fontaine, Jason McDonald, and Joe Doerkson. We're all middleweights at around the same time, if you remember.
Yes. Fontaine as well. Yeah. McDonald, Kang. Yeah, man. But you and Doerkson were like, the guys I was like, you know, like McDonald as well, but I don't know, man.
McDonald was a 205er. Oh no, he was 185. You're right. Yeah.
He's 85.
Yeah.
He was a big 85 too. He was a big 85. I met him. I met him I didn't meet him, but I saw him at one of the shows where it was Mark Pavlich's show, MFC. I had one guy.
MFC.
I had Menjivar fighting on one of the cards, and then I saw McDonald fight, and I was like, oh shit, okay, that's McDonald. Okay, he's a big middleweight. Shit. Yeah, man. Man. Those days were crazy, man. There was so much studying, so much guys to study and to look out for, and be like, okay, this guy, middleweight. I would
there was no YouTube back then, you know.
No.
I would. Dennis, I don't give a damn. I found a way to see you. I found a way to watch you. I found a way to watch Doerkson. I found a way. There was no YouTube, but I found a way.
There was always a way. There was always a way, man. There was always a way to find some footage. Hey, Denis Kang fought. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, where? Okay, Calgary. I would find some footage. Maybe not full fights, but I will find some stuff on you guys. Because man, you gotta be prepared.
It was out there.
Yeah, you gotta be
prepared,
man.
You gotta do your homework.
I remember I was studying everybody at 205 and 205, 85.
You know what the big thing was for me was reading other fighters' interviews, just to see if they talked about how they trained, because it was so hard to know how to train the right way because nobody really knew. You would just kind of wing it, you know? So if like Tito Ortiz said, oh, I trained this and this, I was like, oh, I was taking notes, you know?
Yeah, me too. Tito and BJ
right?
Penn.
Yeah.
BJ Penn. I was
that's right.
I was like, that was because that was prime BJ Penn, prime Tito. I'm like, or when Randy Couture beat
and
Tito,
I'm pretty sure a lot of them lied. Yeah. Because they would say they train 8 hours a day, and I tried training 8 hours a day. You got to take 8 days off.
You tried that 8 hour shit? Hey man, forget it.
No,
8 hours.
I think it was 3 times. I trained 3 times a day, and I had to take like 2 days off. It was ridiculous. It was way too
much. No way, man. It
was disinformation or propaganda. What the Germans call it.
But you know one thing I was doing also was I was taking some notes from boxers. I was like, okay, this boxer does this, does that. He trains twice a day. He runs. Right. So I would try to implement some boxing training or conditioning into my MMA preparation.
Smart.
And sometimes it would mess me up. Till today, like my meniscus are messed up because I would do a lot of road work, a lot of running, like just steady state. You know,
you had to because that was the closest sport that we had to ours. You know, with a ready-made kind of groundwork with a training regimen, like. What else are you going to do, you know? That's something. Right?
Yeah.
So the growth
Crazy.
of a fighter in regards to like checking boxes and becoming a world champion, you've got to fight a black belt from Brazil. Like you have to do that. And there's like, I've seen it in the locker room. There's a little bit more nerve with that. And the demolition man, Claudionor,
Fontinelle.
Fontinelle is your
Yeah,
next
yeah.
opponent. I mean, it's different. A black belt from Canada, a black belt from Brazil. That's when you learn that there's levels to the jiu-jitsu game.
Yes, but he wasn't. There's a lot of black belts. The one that comes to my mind is like Georges Gurgel. You know who Georges Gurgel was?
Of course.
Like he was a black belt
Cincinnati.
from Brazil. Yeah, from Cincinnati. Yeah, black belt, but he always stood up and threw hands. Right, he didn't use that much of his ground during his career. And I think Fontinelle was the same thing. Like he was a black belt, but he did not do much groundwork. So the fight was standing. Actually, I think I took him down and I elbowed him and stopped the fight from there.
Right.
Yeah. I remember Fontinelle's fight versus Donald Wimay. Oh my God, that was a war.
Yeah.
Remember Donald Wimay?
They kept it standing.
Yeah,
of course,
like,
Donald. Yeah. Donald Wimay is another guy. Another guy that's done a lot for the sport. L'Extraterrestre. Yeah, the alien. Donald Wimay, a great fighter. So many guys, man. So many guys. It sucks, man. So many guys did a lot for the sport before us, before me, that don't get the recognition they deserve. To be honest, I don't believe I get the recognition. I don't think Denis Kang gets the recognition he deserves. To be honest, we should get a lot more love, but it is what it is. But to be honest, especially Dennis on the West Coast, man, come on, man. What you've done for the West Coast MMA.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Hey, I respect you so much. If you knew, I respect you so much. I have about 100 students. I mentioned Denis Kang every once in a while, because Dennis showed me a few things on the ground, and whenever something happens, I'm like, hey, I remember Denis Kang showed me this, and then I tell them, and then they're like, who's Denis Kang? I'm like, man, this guy, man, fucking, is it Pride Bushido? The tournament.
Hey, the respect is goes both ways, my friend.
Oh, hey, man, no, for sure.
So if you look at your path, from there you got Jesse Jones. He's a Miletich guy. You beat him, very tough guy, decision. And then one of the coolest MMA pictures ever comes out. UCC 12, January 25th, 2003. Tony Fryklund is your opponent. Another very difficult guy.
Yeah, Tony Fryklund. He's like a pure Miletich fighting system fighter. Like he was there full time, and I fought him. That's the thing. Back then, the UFC had maybe 3 or 4 events a year, so the fighters would take fights outside the UFC. They would take easy fights. So he came to Canada to take an easy fight and fight me. And I stopped him with a big elbow in the first round. I cut him up, and it was a big win for me because that got me my shot at the UFC. And I remember same night, Jens Pulver fought Duane Ludwig, and he was taking a fight outside the UFC as well.
Night of upsets.
Yeah. And Duane Ludwig beat him. I think it was a KO. Yeah.
Here's the thing. The average fan that was smart back then was driving home going, what did I just see? They saw you versus Fryklund, him screaming with blood just squirting out of his head. And then Duane Ludwig making very easy work of Jens Pulver. Same night.
Yeah, same night.
Which was,
And right before me, there was George St Pierre versus Thomas Denny. Thomas Denny was the king in the cage champion.
Oh, that's right, the wild man.
The wild man Denny. He was the king in the cage champion. He was a favorite as well. He was supposed to be George. Nobody knew George back then. And then George by the way, that's the night. George, you hear George talk about it all the time. That's the night before the fight that George and we shook hands. We said, okay, after this fight, we're done. we're done fighting. We're too nervous. We're like, oh my God, this
Really?
is nerve-wracking. Yeah. George talks about it all the time. If you look it up online, after the weigh-ins, we're at a restaurant. Dennis, you probably know the restaurant, Benihana on Sherbrooke, close to the
Yeah.
arena.
I know the one.
Close to the arena.
Yeah.
So we're there, and then we're talking, and then we're looking at each other like, man, this is crazy. This is nonsense. Like, it's nerve-wracking. We're not making money. It's ridiculous. We can't just keep living that kind of life. We did what we had to do. We're Canadian champions. Fuck that, man. Fuck this fighting thing. You know what, Dave? Yeah. Fuck it. Okay, we shake hands. Yo, that's it. After this fight, we're done. So, load off our shoulders. We're like, after this, we're done. So whatever happens, happens. Boom! George wins. Boom! I win. After we see each other in the locker room, who's next? Let's fucking go. Who's next? Let's Yeah, man. We didn't respect our handshake. We didn't respect that. We just kept on fighting.
Do you remember Thomas Denny's pre-fight interview?
No, he probably talked shit, right?
To kick Canadian ass.
Well, didn't turn out the way he thought.
No. Yeah, especially when your opponent's George St Pierre. That didn't work out for many people.
You're saying that now, but back then nobody knew, right? They were like, yeah, who's this guy, George, right? A lot of people were like, yeah. You know what I mean?
There was a Canadian fight gear company that was sponsoring it, Domination Fightwear. I think it was right at this time.
Yeah. That's a Quebec company, Domination. There was Domination. There was Showdown Fightwear. There was a lot of Canadian brands.
Showdown Joe. Yeah.
Dennis, I don't know if you remember this or not, but Fight Sport magazine, the episode where it had Rampage Jackson on the cover, and I remember I'd be on the Fight Finders just studying, and it was like the first time I got to read an article about David. Do you remember that?
Really?
Remember being in Fight Sport?
I remember Fight Sports magazine. Yeah, I remember that one. But there was so many. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the first time I started.
What year was that,
David? It was 2003. It was definitely 2003. Maybe 2002. It was right around that time. That's a big deal. You know, you're a local guy. You haven't made it to the UFC, and you're in one of the regional magazines. Yeah, it's pretty cool. When you get the call to the UFC, when does it happen?
When does it happen?
Yeah.
I can't recall when, but I remember seeing, I was in my car. I remember it was in my car. It was spring, and I was after I hung up with Stephan Patry, I said yes, like I screamed yes, maybe 1,000 times. Yes, in the car. Yeah, I was so happy. I was so happy because you're talking about from all the way back to when I had my car accident, or like I told you earlier, I was like all messed up in the hospital bed, with the surgeries going on, it was dark times. To that moment, I was like, wow, this is it. This is amazing. That's what happens when you don't give up. So I said, yes, I wasn't crying, but I was pretty close, but I was screaming, yeah. I was super happy. To me, that was such a blessing, such a great thing, a great goal to achieve for me, just to make it to the UFC. There's a lot of people.
Was it a pay cut?
A what?
A pay cut? Was it a pay cut for you?
A pay cut?
Because you were selling tickets, you were hustling at TKO, you were a local celebrity.
Local what?
Did you get paid less than UFC?
No, I'm saying, I understand the question. I'm like, hell no, I got paid more. That was like that 3-3 was more than what I would get in TKO, of course, man.
What? You only got 3-3 for your first fight in UFC?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, because that was back in the day. That's right. You made it way back. That's right.
2000. It was June. It was June 2003.
Yeah.
That's that.
It
wasn't
Zuffa, right?
It was.
And it wasn't Zuffa back then.
No, it was Zuffa. It was Zuffa.
It was Zuffa. It was right after
Okay.
Paretti left.
Yeah.
This was Joe Silva's one of his first cards that he ever matched was this one.
Right.
Yeah.
So Tough hadn't happened yet, right? So
No.
Any money.
Tough is 2005, I think.
Yeah, 2 years away.
Right.
2 years away. Yeah. And we've got a group of guys that help. We watch all the fights, and we kind of combine notes. And Josh Campbell, one of the guys, he put a note on this fight. He said Phil Baroni was doing commentary.
Yes.
And he said, if you're not going to pass, you got to pound. And then he made a reference towards his situation right now. But we are going to. Yeah, Phil Baroni was one of those guys. Yeah, Mark Weir too. Mark Weir, I mean, he won by KO. It was a devastating knockout. And it was one of those.
Jackson.
Yeah, he had back then he had the fastest knockout. He did an axe kick and then boom, straight right hand or straight left.
No, but I say poor Mark Weir because you beat him and then I beat him later on in Pride.
you beat Mark. You beat him.
Yeah, I ended up fighting him in Pride. Yeah.
How'd you beat him?
TKO, kind of pretty savage, kind of like yours.
Oh man. He's strong, huh? He's strong, Mark Weir, right? Did you feel his strength a little bit?
Yeah, he was strong. He dropped me right off the bat. He's so tall. His high kick was boom. If you watch the fight, he dropped me right off the bat. Yeah, he was tough.
Yeah, because
for you two, would you guys agree the United Kingdom fighters, they just weren't as advanced as Canada, United States, Australia? Yeah.
No.
I didn't fight too many of them. Yeah, I didn't fight too many of them, so I can't really tell. But we just have Montreal, especially Montreal, Quebec. This is a combat city, man. We've had great kickboxers, world champion boxers, for years. So it was easy for us to get good at the MMA scene because we have so many combat sports going on.
Even the pro wrestling in Canada. I mean, it's serious. Anything combat related is absolutely serious in Canada. Yeah.
Especially Quebec, more than anything. If you're a sports team in Canada, if you're playing a team, whether it's hockey, baseball, whatever, the team from Quebec is tough. Always like that in sports. I don't know why. People in Quebec are ultra competitive and athletic. That's how it is.
I think it's the weather, man. I think it's just so colder here.
People are just tougher in Quebec, I think.
Yeah, it's the weather, bro.
I don't know.
It's the winters, bro. It's the winters. The winters are so cold. Yeah. It gets us tough. You got to be tough.
I know.
Quebec. You got to be tough.
That's one of the reasons why I moved away. I couldn't take it, man. 9 months out of the year. Saw this.
So here in the Midwest, I'm from the Chicagoland area. Anytime we get fighters coming in from Canada at the lowest levels, kind of building themselves up, the amount of discipline and care, and I would even say experience coming in through the door, it's always very high. Canada produces a high-end kind of fighter to just from the base, and then you guys build from it. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Your first loss in the UFC at UFC 44, Jorge Rivera.
Yeah, decision.
Was it body shots, or what was the reason?
Decision. It was a decision loss. I lost by decision. It was back and forth. It wasn't one-sided. It was just I don't know, man. It was my first pay-per-view. The guy was better that night. It was a pretty good fight. A lot of clinching, though. A lot of close counter fighting. Inside the pocket. But it was a good fight.
At TKO 15, Mark Allen, you fight Jeremy Horn, but Mark Allen tried to get Denis Kang that fight. You and Dennis almost fought. Why did that not happen?
I was probably scared as hell. I'm probably scared as hell. I said, fuck Denis Kang, man.
Be somebody else. Dennis, why did that fight never happen?
Did you say this, Mike?
It was February 29th.
Mike?
February 29th, 2004.
We were supposed. No, David, we were supposed to fight a couple of times. I remember at least twice. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Once for sure. In TKO.
This is one for
UCC.
sure. This is one for sure. Yeah.
Which one are you talking about, Mike?
TKO 15. He fought Jeremy Horn instead, and it was like a last-minute Jeremy Horn. It wasn't like he had a lot of preparation for it. I think they had a lot of problems trying to figure out opponents because I went through all the old press releases. Like I printed them all out from back in the day, and it was to be determined to be determined David Louseau. But everybody else kind of had their matches. It seemed like, I don't know if they were being picky. I don't know if they were trying to get a Rivera rematch. I don't know what it was.
I have no idea. I don't know. All I know is that I just want to get back to the UFC ASAP. So I don't know. I just took fights.
Oh no, I know why. It probably would have been because if it's early 2004, I think I just moved to Florida in ATT and I was already in Pride, I believe.
Okay.
You were in the Bushido tournament.
Well, no, that was 2006. That was 2006. But I was trying to get into the 2000. Yeah, I think my first fight was in 2004 in Pride, I believe. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
And then Chris Fontaine, you rattle off a KO there. Curtis Stout, another UFC veteran. In that Curtis Stout fight, it seemed like his corner man was saying very aggressive things to you during the fight. You guys didn't even shake his hand. Yeah, your corner refused to shake his hand. You're like, nah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't recall that. I don't remember. I was in the zone. I don't remember at all.
This was the fight they tried to get Jorge Rivera rematch at TKO.
Okay.
And then at TKO 18, you're on the poster. They're promoting you're on the card. And a former employee of Stephan Patry, JT McCarthy, breaks bad and says, no. They put him on a poster for ticket sales. He was never going to fight. He really kind of let the world know that Stephan Patry had a different side that, we as a consumer might not have seen.
And then what happened with TKO 18? What happened?
No, they did it without you on a card. You never fought.
And they put my picture on it?
You were 100% on a poster. I even tracked it down. Yes.
Shit. Now you tell me stuff.
Patry. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Stephan Patry.
Listen. I'm going to tell you right now. If it wasn't for the platform, the UCC platform that I had, I don't think you would be having this interview right now. So that's why I refuse to talk shit about Stephan, about there's a lot of people I could talk shit about that I was involved with in the sport. A lot of people were not too nice to me. A lot of people were hypocrites, and I just disengage and not talk. But and Stephan and I'm on good terms with Stephan. But I refuse to elaborate on the bad stuff that happened in the past. I leave it behind. I don't know about you, Dennis, but I leave that shit behind.
He did a lot for the sport in Canada.
Big time.
Absolutely.
You and George, he got you and George both, and you could see the way he did it, the way he built you guys up from fight to fight. I was like, man,
we're going through it.
Somebody like that here in BC, like, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
You guys were lucky to have Patry over there.
That's what I'm saying. When I said the UCC platform, that's Stephan Patry. He made that platform. And because of that platform, the way he pushed us, the way he gave us the right fights, he gave us tough fights, but not impossible fights to win. You know what I'm saying? He gave us some. He built our record. Let's not lie about it. You know, he built us up.
I'll even say this. When I fought, there was an issue with my hotel. I think when I fought Stephan Patry, I don't know, I was there for something, and for some reason my hotel room didn't get paid, and I had to pay for it myself, and I left, and he reimbursed me, you know, and he didn't. I mean, he had to obviously, but he could not have. You know what I mean?
I
don't know. I
this.
never had any problems with Patry.
We're going through your record, David, and you hear me. There's boxes you've got to check. There's certain stages that you've got to go through mentally. He 100% provided that for you. Absolutely. And Joe Doerkson, not an easy fight. We got to see your grit in that fight.
Yeah, that Joe Doerkson fight. Absolutely, man. It wasn't easy at all. The lead up, the fight itself, it was close.
Yeah, I remember watching that. You smashed him.
Yeah. It was close, man. It was close. I mean, I think the second half of the fight, because I was in shape, it was good. I did good, but the first, it was tough. It was tough.
So Joe Riggs was your opponent for UFC 51. He pulls out, and they put in Gideon Ray.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude! This was like,
yeah, man.
It's like Big Daddy Goodrich type damage that you did on this one. Another legend from Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Another. I moved around. I threw a few head kicks, caught him in the clinch, kneed him, and then he fell. I got on top, threw some elbows, but it was bad. Like there's an elbow I missed, and I hit the mat, the octagon mat. Boom! The whole the whole freaking cage shook. It was kind of crazy. Those were the days where those were my prime days. So
Savage.
It was, yeah. I had bad intentions when I got in there. I was there going for the kill, 100%.
So just people at home will understand. It was a win by knockout. Gideon had a broken jaw, a broken orbital bone, and his skull was exposed from one of the elbows.
Wow.
Yeah, I was crazy. I was crazy. It was not a game. I wanted to be the champ. I wanted, and just look at who I was supposed to fight. I was supposed to fight Joe Riggs. Joe Riggs was an animal.
Yes.
An absolute monster.
Joe Riggs was tough back then.
Joe Riggs was in his prime. I did not care. I wanted to kill everybody. I did not care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And if you look like in my top 5 of most torque for ground and pound, you got Fedor Emelianenko, yourself, and Joe Riggs. Joe Riggs and yourself were able just to get an incredible amount of power from very short distances while on top.
Yes, 100%. Joe Riggs was very, very tough when he's on top. If he gets on top of you, it's
you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
But
Charles McCarthy, highlight reel knockout.
Yeah, spinning back kick. Yeah, he was leaning a lot with the right hand. So I was like, okay, let me try the back kick. And then from the back kick, it landed, boom, and flying knee.
Was he fighting southpaw in that fight?
No, orthodox.
That was your training partner at the time, wasn't it, Dennis?
I don't think so. Back
after you trained with McCarthy after. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I don't think I was at ATT back then. I don't think I knew him. But I remember this was one of the first times we'd seen a spinning back kick and a jumping knee in the fight. Nowadays, people do that all the time. Back then, that was very rare.
Back then, I was the guy doing that shit.
Yeah.
I was.
Did you get a lot of sponsors? You had to. I mean, you were everywhere. With Gideon Ray, sponsors. You had to have a shitload of sponsors.
If you look at, you can see it online. You look at my fight purses. I wasn't making no money with fights. It's the sponsors. I had some big sponsors supporting my career, and that I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
You had a fight in Liverpool, KJFC, Paul Calhoun. It was canceled. And then October 3rd, 2005, Evan Tanner.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, rest in peace. Yeah, it was that was the fight that it was. I started the fight. He came at me swinging, took me down, and it was all over me. And then second round, it happened in the second round, right? I finished the fight in the second round. Yeah, yeah.
Correct.
He took me down, took my back, was working on that choke. I spun around, and I went to work. Like that was me in my prime. If I'm on top, you're dead. If I'm on top, you're getting hurt. Like maybe I'm not gonna finish the fight, but you're getting hurt. Like there's damage that I'm causing from top in the guard, 100%. So yeah, that's what happened. I just elbowed, and there was a lot of cuts. He got cut.
Former world champion Evan Tanner, your confidence after this fight must have been incredible.
Yes, because he had just.
But he was a former champion.
Oh
right?
yeah,
he was a UFC champ, I think.
He was a UFC champ, lost to Fryklund, and then fought me because he wanted a rematch with Fryklund, so he was supposed to fight me to get a rematch with whoever won that fight would fight Rich. So I won that fight, got my world title fight in the UFC. It was good times. It's a time in my life where I was like, it's weird to say that, but everybody showed love. It was crazy. Everybody was my friend. My phone did not stop ringing. That period, like when I was number one contender till when I fought Rich Franklin, man, everybody was nice. I got anything I wanted, I would get it. It was crazy. And then after the loss, yo, David who?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. You got the wrong number. Right. Yeah. Well, Tanner dropped Franklin in the first. And it was Evan Tanner was a really hard fight for Rich Franklin. And
style-wise, yeah.
Style-wise. And when you coming off a loss like that and you want to get back what you had, you knew he was in shape. Like you knew he was in shape. And you ended that thing in the second round. Tanner, you knew Tanner was in shape for your fight, for sure.
Of course. I think anybody that fights me or that fought me with the high risk of getting hurt, getting cut up, getting knocked out, there's not one person that just shows up not in shape when they fought me.
Yeah,
I can't see it happening.
Diego Sanchez in the pre-fight interview said he bet the house on David Louseau. That's pretty cool. All right, a little bit of controversy here. I got to talk about a little bit of controversy. TKO 24, January 28, 2006. Ivan Menjivar fights Urijah Faber. In theory, you're in Menjivar's corner with Firas. In theory, Canada is supposed to be a hometown for its fighters. There was an illegal kick to the head, Urijah Faber had a real bad cut, and it was an illegal kick to the head. But when you watch the replay and you watch the fight, the kick hit his shoulder. The cut happened during the fight, and they took the win away from Menjivar. What was the locker room like that? Because fucking Menjivar, he just,
I don't remember.
Really?
To be honest, I remember like everybody was pissed, but I don't remember the energy in the locker room and all that stuff. I think it was we'll get in next time or some stuff like that. Like it was people were upset, but it wasn't that dramatic. It wasn't that dramatic.
Yeah, Ivan's a really calm guy anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Ivan was chill, man. Ivan was chill.
Another immigrant, much like yourself. Like that immigrant mentality, like there's an edge to somebody.
Hey, man, I'm not an immigrant. I was born here.
But your first generation, you had that house. You had that upbringing.
I know.
Like Menjivar as well. Like you guys were just different.
Yeah, but Ivan actually was born in El Salvador. Like he witnessed the civil war and the bombing and all that stuff. Like he lived it. He told me that fight to him is nothing because of what he lived, what he witnessed as a kid. He would always tell me that. I was like, why are you so calm? He's like, man, what I lived what I went through when I was a kid, that's nothing.
One of my favorite interviews. UFC 58, Rich Franklin. Denis Kang, what do you think David Louseau gets paid for his world title fight against Rich Franklin?
I mean, I would assume, I don't know, I would assume in the 50s, the 40s and 50s, it would have been a split, right? It would have been a split with probably a bigger bonus if he won. I would hope so. That's what you'd be getting, David.
No, man.
Am I off?
Well, you're off. Listen, it's embarrassing, but you go ahead, talk about it.
9,000.
What? Well, what was the bonus?
9 and 9,
bro.
It was 9 and 9. What? But then, okay, hold on. But then after, once you're the champ, would your purse have jumped? But you had to fight again to get it.
Maybe.
Well,
I don't know. I was on a contract, like a 6-fight contract.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's brutal, man. Rich Franklin was getting 30. Rich Franklin only got 32,000, but Rich Franklin, he admitted that he sold his soul to get into the UFC because he lost while outside of the organization, and he signed an 8-fight deal. So even his deal was horrible. He got 32,000. He got 16 and 16.
Listen, we wanted to be in there so bad that we didn't care.
Yeah.
We didn't care. Yeah. I wanted to be in the UFC so bad. I wanted to win that title so bad. And I think they take advantage of that. They're like, these guys want it. They want it. We'll pay you X amount. Okay. Yes, sir. It's what it is. Now I'm a businessman.
I'll tell you right now. That was in 2006. In 2006, I was making around, like, I think 30,000 in prize. So not much more, to be fair. You know what I mean? Because I know Pride had rumors of being crazy, but I was in Pride Bushido, Pride FC. I think, and the heavyweights were getting paid more. I think I was getting paid 35,000. I think for Pride, and then so not much more.
Hey, Denis Kang, guess who was on the undercard?
Who?
We got George St. Pierre versus BJ Penn, Greasegate.
Oh, that one! Wow. Yeah. The Greasegate. That was.
No.
I think that was because of Phil Nurse.
No,
right?
no. That Grease thing happened with BJ Penn, GSP 2. Not the
was
first.
That oh, you're right.
Of course, I'm right.
You're right.
100%, I'm right, bro.
You're right. Because Phil Nurse would not have been. Right.
He was in the corner. It was Viktor Vargotzky who was in the corner, in George's corner in the first fight versus BJ.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Can we get a comment on Greasegate?
No, I mean it's Phil Nurse is a Muay Thai coach. It's very common in Muay Thai to do that, to put some Vaseline on the back and the neck, and the guy didn't know. And dude, you think you think it affected George's performance
Phil Nurse
or BJ's performance? Come on, man.
Yeah, Phil Nurse has been around a long time too, man. Absolute legend.
Of course.
But David Loiseau, and I love Victor. I would have believed it more if it came from Victor.
Victor would have been pointing at his head.
I want you to do your own research, Mike. I'm not going to say anything else. I want you to Google the name Viktor Vargotzky.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. God, I hope he's good where he is right now.
There was a rumor that David, there was a rumor that you were supposed to fight Anderson Silva at UFC 61. Is that true?
UFC's Anderson's first fight.
Yeah.
In UFC. Absolutely. And this is when listen to me. I was studying everybody from 205, from 170 to 205. 170, 85, 205. And they're like, yeah, we got a guy, Anderson Silva. I said, no, man. I had just fought Rich Franklin. I was still recovering. And I was like, yo.
I'd say I saw the post-fight press conference. I saw some pictures afterward. Bro, you got a set of fucking balls on you. Most guys wouldn't have came out for that last round. Like you couldn't even see out of your eye. It looked like you couldn't even see out of your eye.
Yeah, the commissioner was like, it's okay, son. You don't have to come back for the last round. It's okay. I know you can't see. It's okay. I said no. I'm finishing this fight. I'm gonna finish standing. Oh yeah, I'm gonna finish standing. And I went out there and I finished the fight because I had dropped Rich in the third, so I was like, you never know what can happen. So I kept on trying. Didn't work out, but yeah. So after that fight, a month or two go by, and they offer me Anderson Silva, and that's Anderson Silva. Nobody knows about him. I know about him. He had one loss against Rio Chonin. It was a scissor. He did a heel hook. Dennis, you know what I'm talking about, like the scissor stuff. And
that's right. The Kani Pasami, the scissor takedown. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. So he finished Silva with that. And I was like, what? I had just saw the fight. I had just seen the fight with Lee Murray. I'm like, yo, if the way he fought Lee Murray and all that stuff, the way he was fighting, because Lee Murray was knocking out everybody. The way he was able to manage the distance with Lee Murray and all that stuff, I'm like, yo, this guy is a killer.
Yeah.
Joe
Rogan said it best. He said Anderson Silva is doing MMA from the future because nobody did shit like him back then. The distance and the timing and all that shit. Yeah.
Yep. Prime Silva beats the champs today, like Duplessis and Strickland and all these guys. Adesanya, he beats them all. Prime Silva beats them all easily.
Toys with him.
Oh, Prime Silva, man. Listen, man.
Yeah.
I have no disrespect to the guys today. No disrespect. I respect anybody that steps in the cage in the octagon. But the Anderson Silva that knocked out Vitor Belfort with that push kick to the face, listen, go ahead and mix up with this guy. It was not the same. This guy was something else. The Anderson Silva that knocked out Forrest Griffin backing up.
He toyed with him, like embarrassed him. Like he took Forrest Griffin's stock, which was through the roof, and brought it to like the first floor. Like, oh man, like he just didn't knock you out. Like he took your soul.
Yeah. And that loss against Chris Weidman, you see Anderson Silva, like he's bored. He's having too much fun. He's like, bored. I'm being everybody. I'm being everybody so easily. Let me start doing some crazy stuff. He was bored. That's how he got caught. He got caught. And then once this got cracked, then things changed. You know what I'm saying? But man.
So you turned that down and you would have gotten what, like 10-10 for that?
I would have got whooped. That's what I would have got.
He got 10 grand for that.
I would have got whooped. Yeah. But I'm saying that, but you never know. You never know if I land that left hook. What if I take him down and I land an elbow? You never know. You never know. Especially with the power I could generate when I'm on top. You never know.
He's not going to be on top either. You're going to be on top in that fight. For sure, you're going to be on top.
Yes, exactly. So you never know. Obviously, he will be the favorite. But anybody I fight, it's never a sure thing. Like that they're going to win or I'm going to win. It's yeah. Man,
wow.
you're taking me back in the days, man. I remember when Joe Silva called me and my manager, they had my manager and Joe Silva, and I think Dana was on the phone, and because back then it was we're talking about 2006, so it's not 2006, 2007. It wasn't the UFC that it is today. It was very small crew. And when they called, they were like, yeah, Anderson Silva. I was like, yeah, I'll let you guys know. I told my manager back then, I said, no, man, I'm good.
Was this Ken Pavia? Who's your manager?
After Patry, it was
Patry left after Fryklund. Okay.
Yeah, it was Michele Contile. He was managing Tito and Dean Lister as well.
I thought that was Mark. Oh no. Mark Dion was with Brandon Vera. Okay. Yeah, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. He should have cut that off in the beginning. He shouldn't even have asked you. Like he should be like, nah, he's hurt right now. Sorry.
You say that now because of Anderson Silva that you know, but everybody, most people, like 99% of the population or of the MMA crowd did not know how good Anderson Silva was. A lot of people thought that Chris Lieben was going to win when
At
they
that
fought.
time. Yeah,
a
right.
lot of people.
You're right. I did.
Yeah,
that includes
that was a beat down. Yeah.
But most people. I knew that he was going to kill
Oh,
everybody.
I know. Remember
I knew it.
when he beat Jeremy Horn in Korea, and then before that he beat Sakurai in Japan. Like, man, you know how good Sakurai was. Like,
dude,
Sakurai,
Sakurai, Horn, Lee Murray.
Yeah.
Dude, but Lee Murray went the distance with him. How fucking tough was Lee Murray?
Yeah. When we were talking about British fighters, I was going to bring up Lee Murray. Yeah. Lee Murray was a badass.
The distance.
Lee Murray, a lot of people would say, yeah, it's like fighting a heavyweight. He was a middleweight that hit like a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Super hard puncher. Accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Everybody from Miletich that we've had on they all say he was an absolute gentleman. He was a really good guy, very polite, very proper. And then they said when they saw Lee, and then when they saw him in England, they said that wasn't the same person that we knew in Iowa. Like that was a different human being.
Yeah, you ran the city. Man.
He didn't play when it came to money. He just happened to rob banks. No big deal.
Yeah.
He was like the Jorge Masvidal of London. Jorge runs Miami. He runs Miami.
I don't think Jorge's like that.
Socially?
No way.
Socially?
Man, these guys are Mickey Mouse compared to Lee Murray. Masvidal is Mickey Mouse compared to Lee Murray. Are you crazy, man?
Lee Murray was for real. They told me. I think when the Miletich crew came up to Montreal, I for a TKO when I was there. I remember one of them telling me that after the UFC fight, they went and partied to Lee Murray's penthouse mansion, and they said it was like something out of Scarface. The place.
Yeah, apparently he had a huge painting of him, like in his mansion. Like this guy has a mansion.
Oh, that was
back in the day. Back in the day. So man, this guy ran the city. He ran the city of I don't know which city, but it's somewhere.
And to pull off that bank robbery, like, you know how the legit, like, you got to be smart for that, man. You can't just have balls. You got to be all smart, organized.
Yeah. I'm not saying Masvidal. I'm not saying Masvidal is not a badass, but I'm saying that don't compare these two guys. Don't compare the two.
Fair enough.
What's his name? Lee Murray. Lee Murray is still in the joint. He's still in jail, right? He's still in
having kids, having children while being locked up. Yes. He's got like 3 kids. He's got like 3 kids.
Yeah.
Wow. Mike Swick is your next opponent. And in MMA, there's highs and there's lows.
Yeah.
Mike Swick, that was hard to watch as a fan.
Yeah. It would. No, I mean, it's to be honest, like my fight with Ed Herman, that was hard to watch as a fan. But Mike Swick, it was okay. I mean, we threw some hands, and it was not that much of an exciting fight, but there was some exchanges. But after that, I had what's his name?
I'm talking about the outcome, brother. I'm talking about the outcome.
The outcome. Yeah, the outcome.
It was hard for me as a fan. Yeah.
No, for sure. That for sure. I understand. It was tough.
How do you get cut from the UFC? How does that conversation take place? You just fought for a world title. You just fought a guy that's going to fight for, a title. Rather than let you hang around, they just go, hey, man, take care. I hated that about them at this time.
You know, it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business. I can't be mad at them for running the business the way they want to run it. And it is what it is. It is what it is, man. No hard feelings. Back then, I was pissed. Back then, I was like, "Yo, what the
But
fuck?"
you went back to UFC anyways, right?
I went back. I had to get a few wins under my belt, and then go back. I went back 2 times, and to be honest, after my Rich Franklin fight on the big stage, I was never the same. Whenever I got in the cage, in the UFC cage afterwards,
Was it mental or physical?
mentally, I was never the same. Like you see on smaller shows, like I knock guys out. I remember there's a guy I fought in Calgary after the UFC, after UFC loss. Boom, 17 seconds knockout. I was still crazy, but physically I was there. But mentally, when it was time to step up and fight the big dogs in the UFC, never. I was not the same. I was not the same.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You started training with Brandon Vera right around this time as well.
Yeah, I trained with Vera. I trained with Dean Lister. I traveled a lot. I trained with some world-class guys. It was I went to California quite a bit in California. I cornered Dean Lister for a few of his fights. When he won in LA against Alessio Sakara, when he fought another Japanese, like a Japanese fighter, he beat him in Vegas. I was in his corner. I cornered Dean Lister at least like 3-4 times in the UFC. We were good friends. We're cool, man.
Great guy. What about Mark Dion? Do you remember his old manager, Mark Dion?
That's Brendan Vera. That's not Lister.
Well, he also managed Dean for a while. They had a pretty bad falling out as well.
Okay.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You fought in Art of War, Freddie Espiricueta. You get a win there, and then you fight. You were supposed to fight Leopoldo Serrao, but the event
Leopoldo
got canceled.
Serrao. Yeah.
Armando Garcia fucked that whole event up. Mark Kerr was on it. It didn't even make it past weigh-ins.
Oh yeah.
Did you pull out before, or were you at the event when it got canceled?
I was not. When I fought Leopoldo Serrao, that was Tai Palace fights. I fought him Tai Palace fights, and I beat him.
Okay, but you were supposed to fight him on World Cage Fighting Organization.
Okay.
January 12th, 2008, but the whole event got canceled.
WCO. I was not supposed to fight him. I was supposed to fight Vernon White. No, was it Vernon White?
Vernon White was on the card.
So it was another guy from Lions Den. One guy from Lions Den I was supposed to fight for the middleweight title.
Ken Shamrock.
No. Was it not Jason
No?
Day?
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, you thought I was fighting Ken? Oh, shit. The world's most
kidding.
dangerous man. No, man.
Were you at weigh-ins when it got canceled, though? Were you there when it got canceled?
Yes. I made weight. I made
how
85.
Ugly was it? How ugly was this?
I mean, I was pissed because making like 85 is a tough cut for me. It's always a tough cut to make 85. And I made weight, and they canceled the event the morning of. It's not the day of the weigh-ins. I wake up, it's fight day, and they're like, yeah, we got to meet in the lobby, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what's going on? Well, they didn't, the commission canceled the event because the promoter did not give the money to the commission for the fighters, so they didn't want to risk the fighters not getting paid. So the event got canceled the morning of. WCO. Yeah.
You guys never got paid either.
No.
Oh man.
So Dennis, Jeff Monson was on the card. We had Jeff Monson on the interview, so I asked him about it. He said, well, I told him I'm not taking a drug test. I don't give a shit what they say. I'm not taking a drug test. They said, don't worry, it's a non-title fight. We don't care. As soon as I get there, they call me and they say, hey, man, would you mind coming down and taking a drug test? He's like, I just went right to the airport and I left. Mark Kerr couldn't pass his pre-fight physical. All the fighters were falling off of that card. Yeah, the promoter refused to secure the funds. Armando Garcia, he was the California State Athletic Commissioner. I think he's living in Thailand now. There's a lot going on with him as well. I won't get into it, but there was a lot going on with him as well at this time. Your fight with Jason Day was a very controversial split decision as well.
Yo, man, I whooped Jason Day, man. I whooped Jason, and they gave him the decision. I freaked out. Randy Couture was in my corner for that fight. I was like, yo, you serious? The crowd, the home crowd was booing when they gave the decision. You can watch the fight online. Easy work.
February 1st, 2008, Jason Day, Hardcore Fighting Championship. The promoter.
And I like Jason. And I like Jason. He's a nice guy. Super nice guy.
But he didn't win that fight.
No. Watch it. Did you watch it?
Yeah, of course. David Hauscher was the promoter. The CEO was Keith Crawford.
Yeah.
I would have to assume you had some words with them afterward.
No, I was just disgusted. I left. I didn't talk to nobody. I was just pissed. I was very upset. Man. I'm like, dude, I work hard for this stuff, and you're gonna take a win away from me because of what? I don't know, but.
Well, Jason Day would have been the local guy there, so I'm assuming it's a hometown decision.
Yes. That's what it was.
He's from Alberta, I believe, or
yeah. Make it to the final. Yeah, just cross the finish line. We got you covered. That's what that is. Yeah. Wow. Todd Goenberg, you win a decision. Shortly after that, Hardcore Fighting Championship closes.
Yo, Todd Goenberg was so tough, bro.
Yeah, big time.
Yo! Man,
you want to hear a funny story? Go on, David, and then I'll let you finish. Then I'll tell a story.
No, I took him down. I was in his guard, and I was like going all out, but like it looked like he didn't feel the pain or anything like that. It was kind of scary. Like he was. I don't know if he didn't feel it or he was enjoying it or whatever it was. I was like, damn. How tough can you be? I wouldn't be that tough.
By the way, yeah. By the way, I don't know if you knew. Todd passed away, right?
Oh man, I didn't know that. Oh
yeah.
snap!
Like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
This is number 3. Yeah, this is number 3 for you.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. You got 3 on your record that passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I remember. I think this is when I first moved down to Montreal. Around the time, and I think you thought that I was there to spy on you or I kind of felt it. You were looking at me like I was there, maybe watching.
Yeah,
and you know what? But you know what? Todd thought I was doing the same thing for you. He thought I was there to help you for him. I was caught in the middle because I was doing neither.
Yeah, go sit in the audience.
I had Todd mad at me back home. But I understand why you guys would have felt like that. I would have felt the same way.
Yeah. I remember. I thought you were spying. I thought you were spying. I was like, fuck
Todd thought I was helping you train for him.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
You know what's crazy is HCF, who great promotion, they closed their doors. Wait. Before that, you were supposed to fight Terry Martin in Newcastle.
Oh, he was tough.
Nope.
I don't know. No? I don't know.
You remember that?
Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes there's a lot of behind closed doors stuff that happens between the promoters, and they talk, and sometimes I don't hear about it until it's an official offer with a contract. So many times I told my managers, don't talk to me unless it's serious.
It's official. Yeah. So Terry's a local Chicago guy. That was one of my notes from him.
Yes. He fought in UFC. He was a good fighter.
Very tough.
Good
hands.
Man. Good hands. He fought Vitor, in Affliction. Yeah.
So, Dennis, you actually did commentary on the Andrew Buckland fight on the Raw and Legacy card. Dave Fesser and Dave Hauscher.
Yeah.
How was Phil in the commentary booth? How was he afterward? Did you guys hang out?
How was who? Sorry.
Phil Baroni. You guys were in a commentary booth together.
Phil was hilarious. I love hanging out with Phil. Phil was a good guy, man. Phil was like an old boy, you know, just a boy just a dude from the neighborhood, always cracking jokes. I mean,
Phil's cool.
You know, Sorry.
Phil is cool, man.
Yeah. Phil was a
He's
good
cool.
guy, man. It's a tough situation he's in, man. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah.
He's
what
looking
it
at
is, man.
He's they're going 30+ on him from what I hear.
We're not gonna see for a long time.
Yeah. You were a co-owner of Xtreme MMA. You were on the paperwork.
Yes.
And like there was a little bit of
Black.
controversy. Yeah, a little bit of controversy in regards to the other people on the paperwork.
Yeah, we could change topic.
Okay, not a problem. All right. You beat Salman Hutcherson, and then Ed Herman. Oh, Ed Herman, soft. And you know, I wanted to see you back in a title run.
When I fight who?
Ed Herman.
Oh yeah. Ed Herman. It was I mean, Team Quest fodder, man. They had a game plan. They stuck to it. They're like, let's not mix it up with this guy. Let's not mix it up standing with this guy. He put me against the fence, took me down, worked. He went to work and lost a unanimous, boring-ass decision. It was a terrible performance on my part. I wish I could have done better, but
he didn't make any fans that night. That was
no. He made it a boring fight. He didn't want to exchange. He didn't want to like he was on top, but he didn't do much. Like he was holding me down. I was trying to get back up to make stuff happen. He kept it boring, but he got the win. So yeah, it is what it is, man. UFC 97.
The Striking Truth documentary was coming right around that time too. It was about you and GSP, Bobby Razek. I have not been able to get my hands on that.
Yeah, it was on Netflix for a while. But didn't stay. I don't think it's longer in there. I don't think it's there any longer. No.
And you also did a charity event for the Haiti earthquake as well. February 27, 2010, Isidoro Gonzalez initially agreed, then pulled out. You ended up fighting Chester Post.
Yeah. There was an event. It was Chester Post. It was it was a last minute replacement. He took the fight on, I think, 1 or 2 days notice. I don't think he was prepared. It was very short.
You've been here for quite a long time, so we're gonna wrap this up. Let me throw a couple names at you. Fabio Hollanda.
Yes. What's up with Fabio?
Well, your opinions.
Oh man, I mean, he's a Brazilian top team Canada. He's a great guy. He did a lot for the sport of MMA, jiu-jitsu, especially in Canada. He fought, he coached the best, coached myself, Cote, GSP, and many more. Great guy, and one of the guys that helped a lot with this MMA scene in Montreal.
Jorge Santiago.
Listen, I was when I decided to open my gym in Montreal, it was in Sunshine and Rainbows, and I had to find like a new home, kind of. You know, I don't want to get into the politics, but George Santiago just welcomed me with open arms, because half my family is in Miami, so I'm in Miami very often, and we had a good talk.
That's my boy, Jorge Santiago from American Top Team.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
You knew.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Talented fighter.
Yeah, man. That's my guy. So we developed a great friendship, and I've been training under him for the past since 2014. So it's 10 years. 10 years I'm under George, and on and off. When I go to Florida to visit my family, I train with him. And yeah, he awarded me my brown and my black belt in jiu-jitsu. So yeah, man, that's my guy.
Oh, I had no idea, man. Congratulations, bro. That's huge.
Thanks, bro.
Under George, man, that is huge, David. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, bro. Man. Thank you, man. Yeah,
David Jorge is one of the best guys I've ever rolled with. Ever.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's technical. He's good.
He's amazing.
Yeah. Man. It's
Justin Gaethje's jiu-jitsu coach.
Usman, Kamaru Usman,
as well.
Yeah, Gaethje, Usman, legit. Yeah, man. You know, these guys are so blessed. This new generation, they got guys like Santiago, Denis Kang, Loiseau. Bro, we went through so much.
You too, man. Yeah.
We went through so much out there in the cages, in the UFC cage. Man, now we have, like, that's the thing. We had no blueprint. Like, I was trained for the fights. I wasn't like, oh, this guy that I'm training with, he did this, that, and he went to the UFC and he won. No, there was no blueprint. But now these guys, they got the blueprint. Now I'm like, yo, don't do this. This sucks.
Under one roof, you know?
Yep.
Like, fuck.
Yep. Yeah. It's a blessing. These kids today are blessed. They're blessed.
They are. They have no idea. They don't even realize it. So, you know, my students don't realize it. They appreciate me, but they don't realize how lucky they are.
They don't. It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's we got to find a way to make it to make them understand.
Yeah. If you're friends with Jorge Santiago, obviously you hung around with JZ as well. JZ Cavalcante, one of my every time I'm in Miami, I try to find him. In Hollywood, Florida, I always try to find
him. JZ, man, Prime JZ. Hey, listen, Prime JZ, when he was fighting K1 Heroes in Japan, you know, this is where I met Jorge Santiago. This is where I met these guys. I met these guys in Japan. Ivan Menjivar was fighting. I was cornering Ivan Menjivar. He was fighting K1 Heroes in the tournament.
Socorro. He's fighting Socorro, I think, right? Yeah.
I don't remember who he was fighting, but Jay-Z and George were there and just started talking, and we bonded, we connected, and we kept in touch ever since. So yeah. And Jay-Z's ground and pound. That's another guy. That's some crazy ground and pound. Ooh, he got on top of you. It's a wrap.
Their approach to the fight game, like you had said, me and George GSP, we shook hands. This is it. This is crazy. To where Santiago and Jay-Z is, no, it's okay. Yeah, it's just a fight. Yeah, no, it's good. Like, they don't even want to know the opponent's name. Like, I've seen it live. It's their approach is it's exactly the opposite of what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, man. Anybody, cool, anytime.
Smooth. Yeah. But they're not lying. They're okay, just a fight. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care about name.
Yeah. It's also their upbringing, their background, like the fighting culture in their country, you know, it's different. Fighting is a big thing for a lot of people, but for some people it's just like playing soccer.
Mark Pavlich, good or bad?
Let me think. I mean, good, because because of him, there was a lot of events, a lot of fights, a lot of opportunities for fighters. I never fought for him. I never dealt with him. So from what I saw, all the big platform that he gave, positive, you know, good.
Dennis, any comment on that?
On Mark Pavlich?
Yeah.
He did do a lot for the sport. I agree with that. Him and I had a little bit of a falling out a while ago, but it was a long time ago. I don't care anymore. And he did do a lot for the sport. He put on, like David said, he put on a platform, and he gave a lot of fighters their chances to come up. You know, like how many fighters came up on that MFC? He was basically the Stephan Patry of the West. Take that however you like, but no.
I agree. No. David Louseau, you're an absolute gentleman, dude. We've been trying to get you for a while. Denis Kang really came through. Like, I love the Canadian fight scene. Being from Chicago, I've got all my TKO and UCC DVDs still, and it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. It was fun. Thanks, Dennis, for hooking it up.
Hey, this was awesome. Thanks for coming on, Dave.
Hey,
and I'll
my
tell you
pleasure,
what, I tell you the interview that you do, and I know you do a podcast, but I think the interview that you should do is like how Dennis sat in with you. If you sat in with GSP, you got to remember GSP is going to tell the foundation, or he's going to tell the house. But guys like you and Dennis, like when you sit in kind of like on the backside, it's the foundation. This is what the house was built on. I think you and GSP would be a phenomenal interview, with each other being the subject of each interview.
Yeah, well, I interviewed him with Pat Cote. We actually did during
In
one of
French.
our episodes in French. Yeah. You think we should do it in English?
Man, bro, what, dude? I mean, I'm in. You know, I'm in. I'll listen to that. So, absolute pleasure. Thank you, sir. Denis Kang, I owe you a favor, man. Next time BKFC's in Canada, I'll come see you personally, brother.
Oh, appreciate that, man. Thank you. Anytime. Anything
right.
else I can help
Take
you
care.
out with, and you let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Check out the full interview on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms.